All right, so hi guys, this is Jackie from techjackie.com. Welcome to another video on SEO. First of all, if you're brand new to this channel, make sure to press the subscribe button down below so when I release a new SEO video like this, you get notified, right? So in today's video, I like to kind of discuss like about how to actually disavow bad links, right, or bad backlinks properly, plus a case study that I'd like to demonstrate, right, like what I recently got like out of like success out of disavowing links, right? So I'm pretty sure like many of you have had like have maybe come across like bad backlinks point to your website, and you might be thinking like should you really disavow those or not, or maybe if you have done it but you haven't seen the results yet. I'll kind of go through with you today as to how to properly do it, right? So without further ado, let's kind of dive right into how I really disavow the links using one of my recent case studies, right? So here I've published a case study on my website, my blog, so I'll leave the link in the description, you can check it out. It will go through in the details about this, but basically like there was a guy, he approached me back in about the end of March 2020 this year, and he asked me like to kind of have a look at his website, right, as to why he was losing impressions very rapidly on his website, right? So this is his Google Search Console dashboard, right? So as you can see here, so he gave me an access to his Google Search Console dashboard, and this is his Search Console performance, right? So as you can see here, so this is his website. This is the number of impressions, right, or the number of the keywords that he's ranking on Google search, right? So it's not a traffic, but it's just how many times the keyword actually showed up in the first, let's say, 200 or 300 positions. As you can see here, initially it was doing pretty okay, right? Because this is when he actually started building links. So he started building links in such a way that within like a span of 1 month, he was able to build, I don't know, like about 300 or 400 backlinks. You can see that's why he was able to scored such a quick win in his rankings, you can see. But soon after that, obviously those backlinks are not as good as they were, right? So after, as you can see here, the website started dying, and he kind of lose the number of keyword that he was ranking, right? So basically the website was going was dying. So he approached me, and then he asked me to have a look at his website. Of course, I went through his on page first, and then I checked his technical SEO. But then after going through his website, I knew exactly that it was due to algorithmic penalty, right? Which basically means your website get penalized algorithmically, not by manual penalty, right? Because nowadays, like if you don't know, Google actually has two type of penalties. One is algorithmic penalty, or penalty given by the algorithms. For this type of penalty, your website will kind of like looks like this, right? In a trend, like you're losing impressions, you're slowing dying, like your site slowing dying, you're losing traffic, something like that. Where, and then another type is of course manual penalty, which is given by the Google search team, right? So you'll get kind of like a message here in the Google Search Console, saying that you've got manual penalty. Manual penalty is a little bit faster, like within like maybe 2 to 3 days, or maybe in a week, your site will kind of almost disappear from Google search, right? Almost de-index in something like that. So it's more like rapidly, like it's more spontaneous, but it is much easier to fix, right? Because of course you'll know like what type of things that you have done wrong. Let's say maybe you've built like too many black hat links, something like that, then you get notified like whether it's unnatural links or something like that. So that's manual penalty. So this basically looks like a trend of algorithmic penalty, and I knew exactly it should have it must have come from his backlinks, right? But not, nevertheless, algorithmic penalty needs to be checked, both the on page and technical as well. So I checked both, and everything was fine. I went to his backlinks profile, I fired up Ahrefs. I looked at his backlinks profile, and he had over 800 plus low quality referring domains, right, or low quality backlinks. So in this guide, I've basically showed you here, as you can see, right? So this is the screenshot. So all I did was I went back to him and I asked him just to let him know that he needed to disavow those links and nothing else. Basically, we didn't make any change to the website, we didn't change any on page, any technical, nothing, because all of those things were already good enough, right? all asking was to disavow about 800 back referring domains. So let me kind of zoom this in for you so you can see the screenshot here. Let me kind of go a little bit up. I'm not sure if you have seen it or not. You can go and look at the article again, right? But it's about 876 referring domains. And then the disavow was filed on April 6, 2020. And after that, the site started improving in about 2 weeks later. So it was filed around this date, right? And then after that, you can see here, about 2 weeks later, the site kind of came back, right? As you can see, it started coming back again. And just for those of you who might be thinking like, okay, it might not even be because of his disavow. It could be any of the Google updates. Well, here I also kind of clearly noted here that the site had another 2 weeks to see the improvement before Maycore update was released on May 4th. So on about 20th of April, the site started seeing improvement, which was about 2 weeks before, prior to Maycore update. So, the site basically had 2 more weeks before it started getting affected by Maycore update, as you can see here. So here, as you can see, right, it got affected by Maycore update. It got saw a dip a little bit, but then it came back, right? So this is basically it. And now let's come back to like what types of links, right, that I really went ahead and disavow all this. Like, how did I decide like to basically disavow those links? So there are only 3 types of links that I look at and I disavow. And let me kind of go through the process here as well, right? Let me, so you can go through this article again. This article really goes into details of how to basically disavow links. So yeah, these are the only 3 types of links that I disavow. First one is very low quality links, right? Links that are coming from spammy sites that are basically low value. Second type of links are links which are very manipulative links, right? So this could be links that are very obvious that they are built for SEO purposes, right? Such as let's say articles that explicitly mention that they are guest posts or use of manipulative anchor text, right? Such as exact match anchor text. So if you're constantly building backlinks, let's say whether it's from guest posts or whatever method you're using, and if the links clearly mention that you kind of build it in order to manipulate Google, then those type of links also should be like disavowed, right? This also includes the use of exact match anchor text or the keyword rich anchor text, right? And lastly, the third type of links that I always look for is completely irrelevant random links. So this could be like very obvious irrelevant backlinks, such as let's say your site is about cooking, but then you constantly keep on building links from general sites, right, or from fashion sites, something like that. Over the time, of course, a few of those links will not do anything. It will can still help you, but then over the time, those irrelevant links will kind of come back and hurt you, right? So that's the thing here. If you have too many of them in the overall backlinks profile, basically the process of doing here is to first look at your overall backlinks profile and then analyze like whether or not you have these 3 types of links like present in the majority of your overall backlinks profile or not. So but then one thing to keep in mind is to know when to really disavow links, right? So this is also very important here. So you might have heard time again that Google clearly stated that their algorithm can pretty much ignore all the bad links, right? So this is also another article which kind of supported it by the Search Engine Roundtable. So Google has come out in publicly saying it again and again that their algorithms are capable of ignoring bad links, right? Which to some extent I truly believe that they can truly ignore bad backlinks, such as very low quality ones, right? Because otherwise all the all the website on the internet right now would have probably been penalized, right? So even if they are like low quality links, even if they are very manipulative links, up to some extent they can like ignore those links. But when does this become a problem? This becomes a problem when those percentage of links, right, actually present too much in your overall backlinks profile. So I always looked at about 70 to 80%. As you can see here, it would normally require a large number of bad backlinks to really start showing a negative effect on your rankings. Something like, let's say, if your overall backlinks profile has 70 to 80% of bad backlinks. Now you might be thinking, like, what about negative SEO, when you suddenly get hit by, let's say, millions of bad backlinks? Well, for me, I don't personally think that negative SEO truly works, unless if it is done properly. But otherwise, negative SEO has a very clear pattern, right? Because let's say if you have, like, let's say, if you've been building links for, let's say, 5 links per month, right? If you've been doing this on a very consistent basis, then suddenly one day you get, like, let's say 50,000 links in a day. Right now, of course, this looks very unnatural, right? Like, within a day you suddenly get 50,000 links spikes. Now, of this, Google, I'm pretty sure Google can detect the change in the pattern, and therefore they understand that this is a negative SEO, and they should really ignore these type of links, right? Now there might be another, like, I think there is another type of negative SEO where it is done on a consistently basis, right? Like, not a full blast at once, but on a consistent basis. Now that type of negative SEO can actually hurt you, right? Like, it has to be done in a very strategic manner, what I'm trying to say here, right? But then, yeah, that's pretty much all you need to know. I really recommend you to go through this article again, and to read about what type of links, and how I actually went ahead and like, debug this and kind of help recover this site. Although this site has not fully recovered yet, but as you can see here, it's coming back right on track. It takes usually about 2 to 6 weeks, right, for the effects of disavow to really start working. But then at the end of the day, remember that Google can ignore most of the links, so you don't really have to disavow links. And if you face any, let's say, a drop in the rankings or something similar to this, I would really advise you to first look at your on page and then your technical, right? Because in most of the cases, links shouldn't be a problem unless it is really, really, like, bad in your overall backlinks profile, right? So make sure that you look at those first. Basically, you kind of have to, like, make a judgmental call for this, right? Yeah, and that's all for it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave in the comment section down below. I'll try to answer them as soon as possible. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video.